1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Joey Diaz is gonna be running a little late. I understand he will make the meeting.
Yes, sir.
So, I guess it is 6 o'clock. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is March the 5th of 2020, and the first item of business is roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Erasmo Villarreal.
Present.
Jose Tellez. Jorge Dominguez.
Present.
Rafael Yunis. Abraham Lugo.
Present.
Johnny Narvaez.
Present.
Raúl Ugalde. George Beckelheimer.
Present.
Carlos Flores. For the record, Mr. Chairman, you do have quorum.
Thank you very much. Can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next item that we have is the approval of the minutes of the special meeting of February the 20th.
Mr. Chairman, we, because of the
Such a-
length and size of that meeting, we did not have a chance to finish the minutes. They'll be at the next meeting.
It's terrible.
That's correct.
All right. That was,
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to excuse the commissioners that didn't show up today.
all right, we have a motion, we have a second,
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Okay, any citizens' comments at this time?
None at the moment.
All right, sir. Next item we have is item 6, review and consideration of the following master plans. Item A is review and reconsideration of Lomas del Sur subdivision master plan. The intent is residential and commercial. All right, who will be making that presentation, Kirby? I'm sorry, Ed.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'll be here a second. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Rafael Vidaurri, and this is agenda item 6A, reconsider the master plan for the Lomas del Sur subdivision. The applicant, ALS Holdings LLC, the engineer, Sherfy Engineering Company LLC, approximately 208.75 acres west of Cuatro Vientos Road and south of Wormser Road, and there's multiple zoning for the area. The proposed use is residential and commercial. Here's a location map, aerial photograph, street view, the master plan, and staff comments. From planning, we have submitted master plan revision to the Cielo Laredo Building Department GIS Division, coordinate with Parks and Leisure Services Department to ensure compliance with parkland dedication, provide proposed street names, and ensure that the park track as depicted in the master plan accurately reflects lot boundaries. Planning note number 5, move the entrance of the newly modified Phase 18 so that it aligns with the most easterly road of Phase 10. All improvements as per subdivision ordinance. From fire, their comment with this revision will remove our prior comments on phases 17 and 18. From environmental, update drainage master plan, assured to adverse detention, and phase 10 commercial, phase 10, phase 20, how does layout affect current Lomas del Sur subdivision park dedication plan? Water utilities, phase names are not according to the previous master plan approved. Water and sanitary sewer lines with proposed sizes and alignments needed in the master plan. From water utilities again, indicated projected water and sanitary sewer flows. Plan with engineer's seal and signature. Water lines to be looped need to show points of connection to existing distribution. From traffic safety, missing street names, see subdivision ordinance on L-shaped intersections. Align streets moving north and south of Lomas del Sur Boulevard of phases 18 and phase 10. And from UISD, connection of Guaymas Avenue and Wormser Road. Before we continue, I do want to add that there was a bit of an update with regards to the comment, and I know that the engineer would like to address staff or address the commission. So if you'd like to open it up, that's-
Which update was it on which comment?
On comment number 5 with regards to the street jog.
All
This
right.
is both from planning as well as from the traffic department, and I know the engineer has submitted some items for review to planning as well as traffic and fire, so I don't know if
Okay.
it's all update.
Okay, thank you. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Diaz is present. Okay, the engineer of record is Sherfy? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Frank Estrada with Sherfy Engineering. I guess I'd like to start out by saying, we would like to request that the item be tabled. There were discussions that I had with, well, actually, I wanted to speak to, I did meet this afternoon with Chief Dominguez. We've also been in discussions with traffic. We had, and I guess I'll go ahead and ask him the question, then we can decide if we need a table. But he agreed, traffic wanted us to reduce the number of exits that we had to 2 exits and entrances. We
Let's
met
put the
with
master
fire.
plan up.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
All right, which ones are you talking about, Frank?
Okay. See, we have these, one of the comments from traffic is we don't meet the street jogs, the 300-foot minimum. So what we did is we asked, well, how would you like us to proceed? We sent him a few options. He said he would like to reduce to 2, basically keeping this one and moving this one a little farther west, probably about 150, 200 feet. That would allow him, he said 2 is probably better, still allows for the circulation as we need, and it creates less of a hassle on the Lomas Boulevard. So we went ahead and agreed. I met with fire, they agreed as well. But I went back to the office since we didn't have a sheet to scale at the time. Chief Dominguez, I went and looked. The separation is 688 feet. That's the distance. What we needed was that 850 feet according to the diagonal. I wanted to get with you before the meeting, but we didn't get a chance to. So that's kind of where we sit. We have no problem keeping those exits. Part of the problem is if I move this further and align it here, then we no longer have that alignment with Guaymas. And Guaymas is a local collector. So we wanted to maintain that, but that leaves it at 688 feet.
Where's traffic?
Traffic is not here.
Okay. Chief?
Ruben Dominguez, Laredo Fire Department. We did meet earlier, and originally when we met, for this subdivision, basically all we need, we need 2 exits, and they need to have half the diagonal separation between them. Initially when we met, he felt they had it, and he was gonna go back and take a look at it. Apparently they don't.
Well,
So,
we do have it. The issue lies in what takes place right here when we move it this way. And that I didn't catch. Maybe it was too light when we saw it earlier today, but it no longer maintains that alignment right there.
Yeah.
So if I move it this way, then this problem with the street jogs, we're just carrying it over to the west.
then I guess basically I guess bottom line is we don't have.
We don't have it now. We have 688 feet. So since before you got here, my thought was I'd go and table it, meet with traffic and yourselves,
Yeah.
and come to some sort of solution.
Yeah.
Because traffic's not here,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be best if everybody gets in the same room and say, okay, look,
Right.
we're in agreement that we can move it down to 2 locations. I also talked to planning staff with Rafael, but I think everybody needs to be in the same room to get on board, to see whatever it is we
I
need
agree with
to
you
do.
there too, and I think if you're tabling it is, I think, the best solution at this point. This is an issue that really needs to be, really figured out. That's a growing area. The density in that area is very high, the trip generations are very high, and so we gotta get it right.
Correct.
And I
And just
agree.
about, I think, Mr. Wire's development, most of it is all pretty much developed except for this section. And this is basically what we're coming in with,
Yeah.
the south end. That's the new stuff, and that's why you're seeing additional comments, because
But
this
see, that
really
new
wasn't
stuff is
master
gonna
planned at the
generate
time.
traffic up to that school site in the future.
That's correct.
So we need to get that right, so
Correct.
that there is no bottlenecks, so yeah, I think tabling is the best solution because
Okay.
traffic is not here.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table item 6A.
Second?
A second? All those in favor on the
Aye.
motion? The motion carries.
Great.
Thank you.
Off the record.
Yes.
We do need, we built that $1.5 million road. You actually made the comment of Guaymas, but it dead ends at Wormser. Well, when we built the road, we were promised by the city that they would take care of that 60 feet. And it's an issue we'll bring up next time.
I think
But
it's an
out
issue
of our
that-
control.
It's an issue you can discuss with the traffic department and the city at this
Yeah.
point and make sure y'all get that cleared up too.
Because we've got a brand new elementary school and the
Exactly.
people in Puerto Vientos North can't, take their kids to school.
Right.
Okay, we'll talk about it next, we'll talk with traffic.
Yeah, he talked with traffic and planning too, because I think it's an issue planning needs to look at it themselves. Okay?
We'll do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Next item that we have is item 7. Public hearing and consideration of the following preliminary plats 7A, preliminary consideration of the replat of Lot 8, Block 10, Crown Ridge subdivision, Phase 1, and a .04 acre tract into lots 8A, 8B, and 8C, Block 10, Crown Ridge subdivision, Phase 1. The purpose of this replat is to incorporate .04 acres and subdivide one lot into 3. The intent is residential. All right?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The overview of the applicant is Global Realty Incorporated. The engineer is Tech Engineers and Consultants. The property location is .51 acres located east of Molly Drive and north of North Star Road. The zoning is R1. Proposed use is residential. Location map. Aerial. Street view. It's currently a vacant tract. And this is the proposed design. To go from 1 lot to 3.
What is the zoning up there?
R1.
R1?
Yes.
Is the lot, each lot meets the minimum size?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
These are the comments from planning and water utilities.
Okay.
And this is the proposed motion. I do believe there's a gentleman here from,
I believe there is a concurrence from the engineer on the comments.
that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody want to speak?
Good afternoon, Joe Gutierrez. I'm residential, I live close by. I just wanted to find out what it was. If it's gonna be a residential, commercial, but knowing that you have everything all set up, everything, and figure it out, that's fine. I just wanted to double check if it was gonna be residential.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. All right. Anybody have any questions? For the staff, nobody has any questions? All right.
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to the following comments.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carries. Item 8, preliminary, consideration of the following preliminary plats and preliminary replats. Item 8A, preliminary consideration of the plat of Lomas del Sur subdivision, Phase 17. The intent is residential.
This one as well.
Okay, so the overview on the applicant is ALS Holdings LLC. The engineer is Shirley Engineering, 9.80 acres located west of Cuatro Vientos Road and south of Lomas del Sur Boulevard. The zoning is R1A. Location map, aerial photo, street view. Here's the proposed subdivision. And multiple comments from planning, fire, environmental.
The fire comments have all been struck.
Well, they had struck them on the revision, but then now they're coming back with, because these were addressing some, but now with the street jogs.
Because of the additional comments from traffic and reducing one of the entrances, it kind of plays back into bringing their comments back.
So this is going
So
to
are
be
you-
tabled?
This was gonna be tabled.
Yeah, I was
and
just
the
about to
next
say that
one.
because it's just,
That is correct.
it's coming in the future, so.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a motion?
Table time, sir, please. Yes,
I
sir.
move to table item 8A.
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8B, preliminary consideration of the plat of Lomas del Sur.
This yours too?
This is the same one, right?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table item
Table it.
8B.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8C, preliminary consideration of the plat of AutoZone store number 6021. The intent is commercial.
Overview, the applicant is Luis James. The engineer is Yen Lei. The property description is 1 acre located west of Concord Hills Boulevard and south of State Highway 59. The current zoning is B3 and the proposed use is commercial. And the location map.
Go a little slower there.
I'm sorry.
No, that overhead one. Just give me the 15 seconds here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Right, okay, yeah, right in front of the sack.
And this is the proposed layout. It's a 1 lot subdivision. These are the comments from planning. Engineering, water utilities, and traffic.
Okay. They're saying that you can use a sewer system? That could be a septic?
That is correct.
All right, now, let me ask a question. Where is the sewer line?
It's across the highway,
How many feet?
over 300.
There is an ordinance in the books that if you're so many feet from a sewer line, you have to hook up.
Correct. That's within 300 feet.
So that's what it is, right? You have to be within 300 feet to hook up.
That's correct.
And you're at 300?
We're outside that.
You're outside 300 feet?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the proposed motion.
But we are leaving a future connection whenever they do decide to install a future sewer main in front of the property. We will have the ability to tie into that.
Well, it's gonna be tough because somebody's gonna have to pick up that line somewhere and, you know, that's not gonna happen anytime soon, I don't think. That's a huge cost for one individual. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, if you're within the rules, you're within the rules, and that, you know, you comply. Okay, I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
have just a question for you or for, that's a lot of undeveloped land on that
Right.
side. So everybody's gonna get a septic tank?
Well, that's why,
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying, you know, I mean, that's a lot of land that's, somebody needs to start working on, okay, what are we gonna do here? Is somebody gonna bore under there, tap into that line, and then branch out, or what's gonna happen in the future? Because like I said, they're gonna come in individually, and they're all gonna be exempt. And down the road, it's gonna become, you know, a situation that really needs some thinking now. I want to put it on Kirby's shoulders to talk to the utilities department, RIA, and kind of like, I don't know, figure out something for the future. There's a lot of land there that's
Yes.
going to be coming in. This is a project that's coming in. This is going to attract other, you know, stores and other businesses into this area. So we just need to kind of like, you know, really plan it out a little bit better for the future here. I mean, I understand where it is, and I understand what the city's position usually is on these things, but I think in this case, we just need to, yeah, just kind of take a look at this thing a little bit.
agree.
You know,
The biggest problem, Mr. Chairman, is that when we look at individual application, we need to see what the use is. That particular will probably be very light use,
I agree.
but we can't deny someone else coming and applying.
You know, once you get businesses coming to the area, it's going to foster additional growth. And what that additional growth is, like you said, we don't know. But they're going to come in as individual 1 acre tracts or less. And this is where it can get a little sticky down the road,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. All right. Okay. Any other questions from anybody? Any commissioner? Or, no? All right. What are the wishes of the commission?
Move that we approve item 8C with the staff comments.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8D, preliminary consideration of the replat of lots 11 through 20, Block 2, Pinto Valle subdivision Phase 1, and 17.34 acres of land on a 30-acre tract and a 10-acre tract conveyed by deeds to PG Alpha LCC into lots 11A, 12A, 13A, 14A, and 15A, Block 2, Pinto Valle subdivision Phase 1. All right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant, Mario Palos Garza. The engineer, Daniel Gomez, PE. 42.34 acres located south of Pinto Valle Road and east of SB 1472. The zoning is M1 and the proposed use is industrial. Location map. Aerial.
All right, hold it there for a second. Let me look at this thing. Okay, Pinto Valle is up there. This track is before you get to Pinto Valle.
And this is 1472?
That's 1472. That's Pinto Valle going back up to the fire training facility.
Okay.
And that's a lot of there's warehousing in that area. Some of it is not platted in that area. But this track is before it, so, okay.
This is this long rectangular piece that
Right.
comes down like a boot at the bottom.
That is correct.
Okay. Okay.
Street. This is the existing. And this is the proposed.
Makes sense.
Staff comments from planning?
All right, let me ask you a question. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to answer it. Number 3, coordinate with the traffic department on the configuration of driveways and lot frontages for lots 14A and block 2. And I wish he was here because I've got a question for him on that particular.
Well, depending on your concern, we might be able to speak to it. Can you go
Well,
back to the
I don't know if,
proposed?
what is he talking about shared access here, or what is he talking about?
If you can go back to the.
Absolutely.
Oh, here it is.
It's this spot right here. Just ensuring that this lines up correctly so there's no
So,
problems with traffic.
and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to align it, but is he gonna do a shared access there? Is that what he's thinking?
We've got the engineer here with us.
I'm Daniel Gomez.
Yes.
Gomez. And the reason why we did it that way, the configuration of the lot, is to align Anahuac to align the proposed driveway for the for lot 14A, 15A to be straight directly in front of the Anahuac Street.
Okay,
And the 14A will have its own separate driveway.
okay, okay. Yeah, all right.
That's
that'll
why
work.
it has an odd shape, but that's the only way we.
Well, yeah, that's why I was questioning it. I said, because if they're gonna demand that, you need separate driveways, because this, you're talking about, this is manufacturing that you're gonna have in here. And so, yeah, those turning radiuses coming off of that street are gonna be tough. So, yeah, okay. Yes,
Is that 70-foot right-of-way, the Lampasas Loop, going to be wide enough to handle all the traffic you're dealing with?
it's a 40 back to back.
Street, but go,
40.
okay, go back.
40 back to back. That's
Go
why.
back on the slide to the bigger, where it shows Pico de Valle, go back, right there. You see a Lampasas Loop, it's
Right.
a 70, and then you got the left turn into Pinto Valle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, although it's kind of undeveloped, the way that it's platted on the,
Yeah, but you've got 70-foot right-of-way on Lampasas, but it's only a 40-foot
it's only 40-foot street.
back-to-back, okay? That's why I was concerned with how they were gonna do the driveways, because the driveways coming off a 40-foot street, you're talking tractor trailers.
Yep.
So the turning radiuses have got to be pretty good to be able to get them in and out without a lot of problems.
Well, I mean, the concern is there's no notes from traffic about how they need to set up their driveways.
Well, and I think the
accommodate.
issue there really is gonna come back to traffic getting together with the engineer on making sure that they all are in agreement to how they're gonna kind of like not have conflicts.
Well, it sounds like they want to try to force them to go to Anahuac to turn left onto Pinto Valle to get out of the subdivision, but you can't
That
force
won't
them.
work.
That's
No,
not
that
gonna
won't work because it's a public street. So, no, you're right about that. And I wish traffic were here, I really do, because we've got a lot of questions on these issues, and I'm a little disappointed that,
They had an inspection scheduled with AEP, and so.
Well, it's not so much that they're not here, it's just that they didn't even put any comments on the.
well, their comment is, look,
No, that's not even their comment though, it's planning to traffic.
coordinate with traffic, yeah, I agree.
Like in
They have no
traffic.
comments.
They have 0 comments on their
Yeah,
part.
yeah. But planning did pick up on that, and,
We'll deliver that note and that criticism to the traffic department. And I've already spoken about making sure there's always a representative here, even if they have a conflict.
yeah, because, we do have, traffic plays a big role in plats.
Especially with the M1.
And when we're doing an existing 40-footer on an industrial park that's upcoming, that makes it even tougher,
That's true, but this comment does cover us in
I-
requiring them to work with traffic.
No, I
to make sure
agree,
it's
and I
compliant.
agree, and that's something that we can do. I think the engineer will work with the city to, Joey's concern is my concern too. You've got a small street there that, two-way traffic is gonna be interesting.
I mean, it's just
doable.
prelim, but
I understand, but you already got a 40-foot back-to-back.
yeah.
So off of that, you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna get into each lot.
The setbacks, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I know, that, and see, that's where I was coming from, it's gonna eat up into your property, because you're gonna have to do that driveway, you're gonna have to set back in to be able to get those turning radiuses.
Yeah.
Those are the things
One of
that
the designs.
But you get that, you bring up a good point, but if you look at the plat, which doesn't show up here on our screen,
I see it.
right across the street, you have smaller lots that they're gonna have traffic, and if we look at what we have on the north side, you're gonna have people parking out in the street, and those trucks aren't gonna be able to.
Yeah, that's a mess. As a matter of fact, I would like to see a design how they're gonna access the property, because they can actually have a design attached to the property wherein the 18-wheelers are not gonna be on the street while they're turning.
Yep.
You know what I mean, Mr. Gomez?
Yes, and I apologize, I don't have a layout right now, but we do have, we do have a layout. And basically, we're trying to get in from just straight from Anahuac.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the distribution to the warehouses will be mainly from that specific lot. Because it's one huge company that we're dealing with, but we're doing the replat also, because we're contemplating the future in case they need to sell each property, and they can all have direct access to a public right of way.
But the thing is, Mr. Gomez, is that you may want to set it up that they all have to go through Anahuac to hit Pinto Valle. You can't force them to do so. And the shortest and the quickest route is you're setting it up where, although you may make it nice for them to go through that one, they're gonna just turn left on Lampazos and then try to turn left, and you're making it longer for them and ignoring once the trucks leave those lots, you can't control them anymore.
Oh, no. I mean,
No matter how convenient or how pretty you make it.
It's a 70 foot, that's the minimum right of way width for the industrial park. And it's been like that. And for us, we're kind of like close to the mine road. I'm not sure how it's gonna be in the future when it further develops on the east side. But I don't foresee a huge problem as of right now.
Yeah, because there's nobody out there, but.
What we have seen, Mr. Gomez, in previous, some of the areas like Highway 59, on the replats, the engineer will leave a boulevard or a connection in between the properties within the setback. That way, the traffic will be inside the property and not on the highway.
you have an internal loop, is what you're talking about.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I would wait, Mr. Chairman.
It's preliminary.
It's preliminary. You can add comments.
I mean, this is preliminary right now, and we can suggest some things, I mean, like what you're suggesting. But I have one question. You said that there was one major company that's gonna set up here?
Yeah, there's like, it's 4 warehouses, huge warehouses, and those whole lots, actually 5.
Okay, but they're separate businesses.
They're separate businesses, one huge entity.
Okay. I can see why then you switched them to
And right
lots.
now, they want to control the access to one lot right now, but they want to leave,
The option.
the option in the future in case they need to sell.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes
To
sense.
put a collateral on a bank, just to have one lot.
So right now, what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be doing an internal road to come out
Yes.
with one access point.
Yes.
And is that road gonna be asphalt, caliche, or what?
No, everything's gonna be.
Concrete?
Yes.
Okay. So that answers
That's
the question for right now. It's all gonna be a concrete circulation but in the future, this warehouses get sold individually, will have the option to to get their own driveway. That makes sense. And the driveways will be on the plat, so there's no misunderstanding in the future of what could happen.
Well, I can't speak for traffic at this point, but that may be one of their requirements, is that they have a shared access agreement so that there remains only one access point. That would be an option we've used in the past.
And that's something that the developer would have to do, yeah, I mean, obviously. But a shared access point right now, not denying them that in the future, these things get broken up, they each get sold individually, they're gonna have to have access coming
Yeah,
off of.
they would have to maintain that shared access agreement and that shared access route. I'm not saying that's what traffic would
Yeah,
suggest, but.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's something that needs to be cleared up, because I think that would be a problem for the future, personally.
I think you should bring it back, Mr. Gomez, with the comments from traffic that are more specific, because they're too broad right now.
But Commissioner Dominguez, we can put the comments. We can instruct traffic to do it. Like, we don't have to wait for traffic. Because it's prelim, we can
This is
add.
preliminary, so he still
Yeah.
has to work on it with traffic, sir.
But even in our case, we're still gonna have less traffic or less driveways than the existing conditions, because each lot, by law, they allow one driveway.
I agree.
So we're gonna be reducing the amount of driveways.
Yeah, you're gonna have less driveways. And what you
So
have.
everything's gonna be more controlled.
Yeah, yeah. No, but this is preliminary right now. You still have time to work on everything that you guys are gonna work with the city and traffic and everybody else.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So, Mr. Steinman, so you hear this, obviously concerned about how the traffic's gonna be navigated around the property. You've got that big concern, I mean, you've picked up on it, obviously, and you'll deliver that information to traffic, so that by the time it comes back, there's something that's blown up, you know, the parts to
Yes,
see.
well, at a preliminary plat, one of the challenges is that the plan from the developer has not been developed to the point where they can give those exact this is what you need to do, these specifications, this route, how many access points. It will very much depend on the site plan and what the developer decides to do. So at preliminary approval, we give broad recommendations, like with our planning comment that says they need to work with traffic to make sure that they're compliant with traffic's recommendations. They couldn't get more specific until the developer proposes more specific for their use of their site, which they
Okay.
haven't done at this point.
And is traffic abundantly aware of the queuing problem? And
Oh,
that's-
very.
Okay,
Very.
so this is
Our
now.
traffic director has a lot of experience with
Yeah, he
TxDOT
does.
and access, and making sure that we have shared access and not multiple access is one of his main objectives going forward with approving plans.
Okay, great.
Any other questions from the commission members? The engineer?
I do not.
No one else?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve, provided that they bring us the plan back with a design for each of the properties, the way they're gonna access the properties. And that's my motion.
Okay,
That would be the final.
that's the final plat, yeah. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second on that?
Second?
A second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, consideration of the following final plats and final replats. We have 9A, final plat.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Final consideration of replat of Lot 8, Block 8, Akedo subdivision Phase 1 into lots 8A, 8B, 8C. Akedo subdivision Phase 1, the intended residential. The applicant is Akedo Limited, engineered Terra South, 0.581 acres south of Akedo Boulevard and west of Riverbank Drive. The zoning is R1A. Proposed use is residential. Location map.
What are those?
A little helpful to give some, even though you just read it.
Absolutely.
To repeat again where they're at.
This is the World Trade Bridge here. This is FM 1472. Interstate 35
And the Rio Grande.
and the Rio Grande.
Mhm. That Street Riverbank up there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, where? Thanks.
Aerial,
Yeah.
street view. Yeah, the proposed layout. And this is the final plat.
How do you get it?
Put the,
Yes, sir.
there, right there. Let me see that for a second. Okay. It's cutting lot 8 into 2, 3. And it's an R1A zone, right?
Yes, sir.
What's, I can't see the width of the entrance on the replat. Do we have, who's the engineer? On the cul-de-sac, and the replat.
The lot widths on the front.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Gilberto Gonzalez with South Engineering. And the lot widths on the setback are the minimum requirements, and I believe they're 37. It meets the minimum requirements. On the actual, and the bearings are not on that image, but C3, C3, 4, and 5, they meet the requirements for that zoning. And I just don't know how much on my head, but they're out right at 40. But it's taken at the setback line.
Yeah.
And that's at the minimum at the 40. It's actually a little over, like 1.5 feet over.
The lots are what's the size of the lots?
They are,
Or what the range?
8A is 5365 square feet, which is the little one on the top. 8B is 10,466, and 8C is 9,494. I'm looking at
thank you.
at the actual plan.
Very good.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry to
No,
take away from you.
No, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the engineer? No? All right. What are the wishes of the commission?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item we have is the director's comments.
Yes, a couple things. One, we didn't put an item on about the meetings in April.
We'll bring that in for the next one.
Okay, well, we have enough time with
Yes,
all
we
of
will.
our, okay. Just a heads up then, we're going to ask on the next meeting that we continue to relocate these meetings. Obviously, the city council chambers are still able to be used, but we didn't know that this delay would occur until after we noticed, so we've already noticed, so we've got to come here. But there's been a delay in some of the equipment or some of the furniture. It's coming from China and don't worry, we'll sanitize it. We'll clean it. I'll get there and scrub it for y'all before.
May not come.
But it's coming, but it'll be delayed. So we're going to have to meet in April here as well. Now, is this location working for everybody? Is this okay?
At Central.
Except for the last meeting.
Last meeting, yes, we didn't have access to the multipurpose room. We did, and then it changed. Just there was a snafu with the.
I guess
So
it just-
typically, we're going to have the meetings when we can, when it's available in the multipurpose room, which gives us a lot more room.
Yes.
When we can't, we'll have to meet here.
I would say when you have zoning issues, we should have them
Definitely
over
make
there,
sure.
the multipurpose room, because usually a lot of people will show up on different items for zoning.
That's very good observation.
Kirby, if, well, we're gonna have this meeting without computers, if we can have the
agenda.
The only
A
problem,
paper agenda, so we can follow.
you do have the agenda,
This
but
is the agenda.
to.
No, we want
but
the
the
support
packet-
documents is what he's talking
The
about.
packet.
The full packet.
If we,
Yeah.
we can't do that, just realize that we're talking about thousands of printed papers for one.
What happened is that, and I agree with you, but on these instances, we can actually go back and review. I would like to have mine.
All right, how about this? If we could get, a couple laptops.
I was just about to say, get a couple of laptops, I mean,
And
you
then
know,
we could share them between, would that be okay?
Yeah, that would work.
Okay, we're trying to get away from printing so much.
That's fine, I mean,
We
but.
appreciate you
But
helping.
sometimes we do need, I
We'll
agree
try to
with-
get some iPads as well.
we need to look at stuff and shoot back.
All right, noted. Well, thank you for those who endured our last meeting. That was, oh, yes, also, we'd like to introduce our newest member of the planning department, Daniel Tirina.
Danny?
Welcome back, Danny.
Attaboy, Danny.
I am back.
Danny, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
I think most of us know him.
Danny
So this-
Tirina, city planner by heart. Always been very, very grateful to be back on board.
doing what I love with a great team. Happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. It's exciting.
All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Danny.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
grateful to have him. We feel lucky to have him. We, as you know, we've been making a concerted effort to beef up our team, add more individuals, staff up so that we can do not just reactive planning, but proactive. Well, reactive planning is not planning, is it?
Not quite.
There might be a little bit in there.
But we want to do planning. And we want to, there's so many things we want to work on and improve. And we want to take recommendations that come from the Planning Commission and others. To do that, we have to have staff. So just be advised, for current planning, we also want to improve the process, make it clear. I think you've seen that with what we're trying to do with presentations, how we facilitate the Planning Commission. Note that we're going to have 2 people that will be on zoning. Ale and Fernando as well will be full-time on zoning, and we'll have 2 people on plating. That will be Rafa and Daniel. And with that, that'll be more that we've had to current planning assigned than we've had in a long time, maybe ever. And the goal is to make these run smooth, to have redundancy so that if somebody's sick or away, the thing doesn't stop, that it continues and it goes smoothly. And what we're working towards is a processing, application, permit processing time period that's half of what it is now, because we're dealing with months, some of our cases that go long. And so we're trying to improve that process to make it faster. One of the things that we can do to encourage good development. So, with that said, thank you very much for those that endured our marathon meeting. We checked. It was a record.
It was.
It was a record.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that. We wanted to give an extra thanks, and so tonight we're going to go to the multi-purpose room after this and have dinner. That's provided by Charlie's Grandma.
Excellent.
Some ribeye steaks.
Well, those that left early with the titles.
And again, as always, thank you very much for your service. I probably will say this every time because there's always public new that are watching or public that are here. Y'all do not get paid for your time here. You do this out of service, and we very much appreciate that. And we very much appreciate the time you take outside of this meeting to prepare for it. So thank you very much, and let's have a good dinner.
All right, motion to adjourn. Second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.